Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. So in today's video, we are prepping for Cranberryfest, and I have been thrifting like crazy, picking items that I think will be great for display pieces. Everything is going to be for sale. And I have taken 5 items and I am flipping them today. So I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm all about DIY, thrift hauls, thrift flips, and I really love to bring you guys along really a day in the life of a small business owner. This month is going to be really focused on Cranberryfest. So all the videos are going to be flipping items for Cranberryfest. And then every Monday and Friday over on Facebook, I do lives, and I am going to bring you along and show you what it all goes into, like prepping and preparing for a big show like this. So I hope you guys can join me over there. If you don't already, go follow all my other socials. I have been putting out a whole lot more content over there for you. But again, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I can't wait to hear what you guys all think.
For project 1, I thrifted this little container from the Goodwill bins on my recent haul. And I grabbed right away the IOD transfer ephemeral melange. I love this transfer because it works great for your smalls. And I cut out 3 of these little pieces because I wanted to put one on each of the containers. And I love how many of the colors just go hand in hand. So they work really well together, and it makes it look like these were all meant to be together on these containers. So for starters, I am taking cake batter from DIY, and I am applying 2 even coats to each of the containers. I'm going to let this dry very thoroughly, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to seal it. I do seal everything with Big Top from DIY, and I'm going to just apply 1 even coat to each of these containers, and the key here is to let your top coat completely dry before you apply your transfer. If you don't, when you apply the transfer, it will actually pull up the actual paint and top coat. So that is my one recommendation. Just make sure your top coat is completely dry before applying the transfer. So now that it's dry, I'm going to start and I'm going to apply each transfer to one of these little containers. And I just start on one side and I rub really well. I start pulling the backing off the transfer. And if any of the transfer does not come off, I just lay it right back down and re-rub. I always burnish the transfer with the backing just to really make sure that it is embedded in the piece, and I do that to all 3 containers. Once I am completely done here, I do seal it with Big Top. Anytime you apply a transfer, you just want to seal it with some type of top coat. While I'm letting that dry, I am going to take the handle and I am going to use Apothecary from DIY. The Apothecary color really came out in the 3 transfers, so I thought this would be a great way to tie the transfers in to the entire piece as well. Once it's dry, I'm going to go back. I am going to wet distress it to give it an aged appearance, and then I am going to clear coat it with Big Top. For project 2, I thrifted these crates. I found a few at the bins and a few at just one of the local Goodwills. And my vision for these is I'm going to paint them with Summer Crush by DIY. And this by far has been my favorite orange for fall. And I'm going to just give them one even coat to the entire outside. Going to let that dry really well and then come back, and we are going to stencil some fun sayings on these. Now that it's dry, I am using the same stencil pack that I featured in a previous fall video, and I'm just using a different stencil, and I'm adding pumpkins to one, and then I'm going to add the hay rides and apple cider to the other. And I just love how this little detail can be added to these little crates, and I'm doing it to both sides. And these will be perfect for one of my fall vignettes. Now I'm going to seal it with Big Top, and I'm just going to add one even coat to the entire piece. I love how this initially the DIY paint looks very matte looking. Once it's sealed, it just brings out how vibrant and beautiful the paint truly is. For project 3, I have been collecting these cutting boards, and I wanted to bring them to Cranberryfest, and I was brainstorming what I could do to them. And then I remembered that a couple other creators have used spindles. So for instance, Upcycled by Bree, she did this on a recent video, and I'm like, brilliant. I am going to use the spindles for handles. When I was traveling and was in Jacksonville, Florida in June, I did pick up a JRV stencil, and I've always wanted to try it, so this was the perfect opportunity. So I'm using black velvet from DIY, and I love how DIY paint is very thick, so you don't get a lot of seepage. I always offload my stencil brush, and then I just dab, and I can honestly say that I really, really like this stencil. I like how thick it was. Once I was done stenciling, it was perfectly crisp. So it was a lot of fun working with these stencils. I'll definitely be picking up a few more in the future. So when I picked up that fall stencil set, I also picked up a holiday stencil set as well. And right away, I knew I wanted to use just this one stencil to give this breadboard just a little bit of like a grain sack stripe. And I will link this one in the description along with the fall set of stencils as well. So I wanted to have all of these coordinate, so I kind of just played around with it, and I mixed and matched the same JRV stencil. I just moved the items or the wording around, and I absolutely love how these all turned out. I took my jigsaw, and on one end I cut out a notch so that it would fit perfectly on the cutting board. I am applying one even coat to all 3 of the spindles. I'm using black velvet. I'm going to let them all dry very thoroughly, come back with my hand sander and just distress them randomly because the cutting boards are very distressed looking. I wanted the handles to have that same appearance. because I used DIY paint for the stencil and for the handles, I'm using Big Top to completely seal it. I know I have told you guys this before, but if you're a new viewer and have never used DIY paint, the paint itself can be reactivated with water. So anytime you're using the paint, you do need to completely seal it with some type of top coat. So now it's time to put on the handles. What I do is I line it up. I'm applying 3 brad nails to the front. I stand it up and I put in 2 brad nails like on the top. I want to make sure that the handles are really secure to the cutting board and that they don't have any chance of falling off. So what do you think of the breadboards? I love them. For project 4, I picked up these baskets. I wanted to have quite a few baskets in my display at Cranberryfest. They are perfect to house little items and just make a display seem that much softer. So I am using Gypsy Green from DIY, and this is such an easy flip. You can change the appearance of any basket by just painting the edges or the handles, any of the trim, and all I do is apply 1 even coat to all 3 of the baskets. I let it dry very thoroughly, come back, I seal it with Big Top, and your baskets are completely transformed. So I wanted to show this to you guys again because I think sometimes people think that they can't do something as simple as this to change the appearance, but just adding a pop of color to any of your baskets will completely transform them, and it's so simple and easy. For my 5th and final project, I picked up this tackle box at the bins and I loved it. A while ago, I had done another little box and it was definitely a hit. So I like this color, but I wanted to have it fit with my display or my vignette. So I'm painting the entire piece Gypsy Green. I'm applying 2 even coats and I let it dry very thoroughly. So now that it's dry, I'm coming back and I am going to wet distress this piece. I just take a damp rag and I start by rubbing the raised areas of the item, and I just bring out as much of the color from underneath as I want. This is such an easy way to distress, and it doesn't cause a lot of dust. As if I was sanding with like a sanding block, you'd get a lot of dust from the distressing. This prevents that. After I distress like the raised areas, then I randomly go over the entire piece and just distress different areas that would have age from years of banging around in the bottom of a boat. Now I'm going to seal it with Big Top, and I just apply 1 even coat to the entire piece, let it dry very thoroughly, and then we're going to come back and we are going to start decorating this. So I'm going to use IOD's Painterly Florals, And I have been on a sunflower kick, guys. I have been just brainstorming about how I can use them, and I thought this would be a perfect piece to have these beautiful sunflowers on here. So if you haven't used any transfer before, basically you peel off the backing, lay it down, and use the transfer stick and just rub over the transfer until it completely releases from the backing. And once you're done, once it's applied, I always just take that piece and rub the whole transfer to really burnish the transfer into your item.
So what was your favorite item? Honestly, the tackle box was mine. I loved it. I have been brainstorming all week about sunflowers, and as I was pulling items, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pull this for this, like these items offer a vignette, and I'm using these colors. And then I started going towards Christmas. I have been like brainwashed for Christmas because I've been doing all the new releases. And I'm like, nope, I need to get all my fall stuff done. So I picked a bunch of fall colors, pulled out the sunflowers. I am definitely going to be adding more sunflowers to this vignette that I've started. And whenever I do a flip, like all these 5 items in today's video, that is going to be like one little vignette within the booth. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Monday, I'm actually giving you guys a thrift haul. I had been to the bins on Wednesday, and I picked big. I had so much fun. So I rewatched the video, and it was extremely hot by the time I taped it. So bear with me. I am kind of like a scatterbrained in the video, but it is a good one, and I hope you enjoy it. And then back on Friday, I'm going to be flipping away, and I hope that you can join me next week, Wednesday, for my kickoff of episode 1 of prepping for Cranberryfest on my live. So we'll see. I actually don't know what we're going to be doing yet. I'm just going to bring you along as if whatever I'm tackling for Cranberryfest, that's what you guys are going to get. So whether you're in here, in the garage, in the driveway, it's gonna be like a real life experience, guys. So you guys have yourselves a happy and safe Labor Day, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.